I lost over 35 pounds of weight, and I did it without having to starve. And so keep watching this entire video so you can do the same. And so the biggest thing when it comes to losing weight without feeling like you're freaking in starvation mode is, first of all, the type of food that you eat, and also to a certain extent, the amount of deficit that you're putting yourself through. I say this because no matter what type of food you eat, if you're in a 2,000 calorie deficit every single day, you're gonna starve. You're gonna be starving, and the risk of you binge eating is gonna be crazy high, right? But when it comes to the type of food you eat, I've tried a lot of different diets, a lot of different foods, things that pop off online and they're trending. You probably see right now there's a lot of diets that are trending, right? The carnivore diet, vegans as well, animal based. There's a lot of things, keto as well. There's a lot of things, and you don't even know like what's the best for you, right? And so it was only when I focused on a whole foods diet, a single ingredient foods diet, is when I started actually losing weight consistently, and I could actually keep it off. I wouldn't just get fat right after stopping the diet because it was also sustainable. And that's exactly what I teach in my course. It's the first link in the description if you want to check it out. But continuing on that point, it's only when I actually started to focus on eating single ingredient whole foods, right? And from everything, right? I'm not a restrictive carnivore diet type of guy or like a vegan type of guy, right? Everything that grows in nature that we've been eating for so long, it's most probably good for us, right? Or else we wouldn't have kept eating those foods, right? We've been eating them for 50,000 years, right? Like a lot of meat, eggs as well. We even started eating dairy like 10,000 years ago or something. A lot of fruits and a lot of vegetables, right? And when you start experimenting with eating this type of diet, and you can make a lot of different combinations, because people make it sound so boring, eating healthy, eating so extreme. What's so extreme about eating real food, right? Why is that the new extreme diet? Why is it even considered a diet? I know technically it is a diet because everything is a diet, right? Like technically the food that you eat is a diet. But in like society, when people say something is a diet, they usually refer to it as being extreme or restrictive. But eating whole foods should not be restrictive. You have so much to choose from. Like if you look at your meat choices, you have beef, you have lamb, you have venison, you have chicken, you have salmon, you have a lot of different type of fish and shellfish. There's so much to choose from just in the meat section, and you can make even like the cow has like the skirt steak and strip loin and ribeye and tenderloin. In the chicken, you have like drumsticks, you have thighs, you have breast, right? There's wings, bro. You can, and with the type of marinades, bro, you never run out of recipes, right? You should never run out of recipes. If we tried one recipe every single day, with like experimenting with like one type of meat source, and then let's say one type of vegetable source, then you shouldn't run out. There's so many vegetables as well. You generally shouldn't run out. It shouldn't be anything that you're bored of. It's just that you're not prioritizing health. If you prioritized health, then you would make the effort of learning how to cook, of learning what type of combinations you actually like, what you actually enjoy eating, because you'll enjoy eating it, but then you also get healthier by eating it. You see what I'm saying? And so instead of just focusing on whatever is most convenient, whatever is the most highly palatable, junk food, processed food, focus on eating whole foods. Whole foods will keep you fuller for longer. especially if you're prioritizing high meats and high proteins, right? And even the sugar sources in fruits are much more sustainable than the simple sugars in processed food. If you get an Oreo, you're sipping straight glucose. And so your body does not need to digest any of that. As soon as it goes into your gut, it's going to absorb it right away. It's going to spike your glucose, which spikes your insulin, which then is going to give you a sudden glucose crash. And then what happens when you crash in glucose? You can have low blood glucose, which signals to your body that, oh, I'm low in glucose. I need more glucose to live. So you're going to get sugar cravings. See what I mean? But if you eat something like berries or banana, fruits, some of them have fibers, but also even the sugars in fruits is fructose, right? And so fructose needs to be digested even more to go to glucose. And so the increase in glucose is not going to be as sharp, which is not going to lead to a sharper sugar crash. And especially if you pair that with high protein, high fiber, then it's going to slowly increase your blood glucose. So it's more sustainable, which is going to make your hunger more sustainable. There's going to be less like dips and like what rises in hunger hormones. You're going to be more stable for longer. Your mood's going to be more stable as well as a consequence of that. And so, even though the junk food tastes better in some sense, I see what you mean. I understand. Like, it's not like I'm never eating junk food, right? I've only recently started, like in my 20 years of living, it's considerably only recently, like maybe the last 6 months or the last year in general, where I really start to dial in on the type of food that I eat, right? And I can tell the difference is night and day because I just feel so much better. And the more I get interested in health and nutrition, the more I start locking in and the better I keep feeling. Even when I'm in a calorie deficit, I still feel decent. I feel stable, right? And so I feel like it makes it more sustainable to be in a calorie deficit and actually lose the weight that I want to lose and still be healthy. And so that's exactly why I started implementing this type of diet. And I started losing weight without starving, comparatively to eating junk food, even if it was like 10% of my diet. But it would just increase my cravings, and I wouldn't feel great all the time. I just feel like I'd get brain fog, and I'd be more bloated. It just wouldn't feel great. Even like on the scale, it just wouldn't be great because it will just fluctuate a lot more because I'm like experimenting with a lot of different ingredients. When I'm eating just simple food, my weight continuously goes down or continuously stays stable. There's not much fluctuation. You know what I mean? And so all of that, even psychologically, makes the process of losing weight easier. So it's just a whole much more sustainable process. The biggest thing is just fighting off the urges to buy the junk food, right? But once you have that priority straight, and you just like, you're gonna have to brute force the first week or two and just fight off those cravings, right? But after that, it's just easy. You won't even have much of a desire for junk food. It won't taste the same. It'll taste a bit fake and not real because you're actually used to eating fruits and vegetables and meat, things that actually taste real, things that actually grow on earth. And so once you make that change, you will thank me and you will lose the weight a lot more sustainably. And therefore, you can actually keep off that weight. You can stay lean for the rest of your life if you just follow that diet, right? It's very hard to eat 4,000 calories of like steak, of like even vegetables. You're gonna have to try really hard and like douse your food in liters of oil and butter in order to gain that weight. And so it just makes life a lot easier. You feel better. less hungry, more stable mood-wise, energy-wise. And again, like I said, you will thank me later. Just try this for at least a month. And if you need help doing exactly that and eating healthy while losing weight, not damaging your health at all, then just check out my course. It's the first link in the description, and I'll see you there.